we all are so happy, at least that these kids and their teachers can now reunite with their families, because I can't really imagine what the parents of those children have gone through for the past 56 days. They have not seen their kids. All the things they do together, help them to do assignment, walk them to school, all those processes, make food for them in the morning for their lunch box, do school runs and so on. So for the past 56 days, they have not been doing that. A lot must have even gone out from them, a lot of virtue, because when you have a kid, you will understand what we're talking about. You are too close to your children, you care for them, you are too concerned about them, and suddenly, just suddenly, they just disappeared for 56 days. You can imagine how hollow you will feel, knowing fully well that wherever your kids is or are, that they are not in good hands. Not to talk about hearing that they were taken up by bandits. That's even more traumatic. Hearing who they are with, or where they are in the forest. It's quite pathetic, both for the parents or the partners of the teachers, and also worse for the kids. So at this little age, they are going through this traumatic experience. It's not something that that they deserve. That is the point. But kudos to the government that at least, despite all the long waiting, they were still able to get the kids back unharmed. But the presidency is still telling us that there was no exchange of anything. There was no negotiation of any sort. That whatever they asked for were not given to them. That this is just a clear and total rescue operation by a combined team of security forces. Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This is Andy Media TV. So it was kind of breaking news, when the spokesperson to the president, Mr. Bayo Onanuga, posted on his X handle that the kidnapped students and teachers from Orile in Oyo State was released without any, kind of negotiation or stuff like that. So according to his tweet, he said that this case, there's no quid pro quo, in terms of there's no give and take, right? Remember the terrorists were, or the bandits or the kidnappers, whatever name you want to call them, was kind of negotiating with the government, asking them to release, some of their men that were held in the prison. And there are a lot of other information that came out that were debunked in terms of they want the state to be Sharia laws and all of that, which was debunked. However, those requests were made, which the spokesperson acknowledged that their kingpin, who they were asking for the release, is going through prosecution as we speak. So which means he acknowledged that those bandits made a demand, to the government for the release of the children. So, but he was trying to clarify that these demands are not met. Nobody negotiated with them, that they launched a rescue operation to be able to, get the children and their teachers back home. So you may recall that it's been 56 days that these victims were in the forest in the hands of the bandits. So according to the post of the spokesperson to the president, Mr. Bayo Onanuga, he said that 8 of those bandits were arrested, where some of their men were also neutralized. There was no specific number on those that were neutralized, that was killed in action. So, but there was no other information as per how the operation took place. Is there any victim on our own side in terms of the security agencies? Are there, any other thing that happened during the rescue? There was no information on that. But he ended that tweet by saying that the security operatives gonna release information on the operation soon. That's what he said, and that's how he ended that tweet, with some pictures and the video of the teacher, which we always know that always makes video for the bandits at gunpoint. The woman was together with the kids, thanking the president, and the kids were busy, chewing their nose and all of that. I can understand the situation. And it's something that is quite worrisome. Little children, living in the forest for 56 days. I don't know what kind of trauma, they must have been going through. So that's why we are, asking the government that they, work so hard, to, send them to trauma center where they can be, rehabilitated, counseled, and so much and so forth. Nobody knows what they went through in the forest. Nobody knows. But, in similar circumstances, when you look at how these kind of operations are done, globally or in developed countries, that's why you see, the officers put on their body cam, as they step into the, forest, their body cam will be active, so you see everything that happened. And that is how they can even probe the officers that went for the rescue mission if they don't follow, the guidelines, the operational guidelines in terms of how they are supposed to conduct the operations, right? So these are where the real evidence comes from, so that we say that, okay, assuming there were lapses and maybe some of the kids were killed or the teachers were killed, the body cam will show what really happened, who made the mistake, how was the error that led to the killing of the victims, and all of that happened. And that's how they will now prosecute the officer if it's the fault of the officer that did not follow the due process, in getting them back. But in our case, nothing. We are blind. Nobody sees anything. The bandits, they said they arrested 8 of them, which they said are in DSS custody. Nobody saw any video of who they are, of what the bandits looks like, or video that is corroborating that yes, about some of these victims, some of these bandits were arrested. But the point is that we all are so happy, at least that these kids and their teachers can now reunite with their families, because I can't really imagine what the parents of those children have gone through for the past 56 days. They have not seen their kids. All the things they do together, help them to do assignment, walk them to school, all those processes, make food for them in the morning for their lunchbox, do school runs and so on. So for the past 56 days, they have not been doing that. A lot must have even gone out from them, a lot of virtue, because when you have a kid, you will understand what we're talking about. You are too close to your children, you care for them, you are too concerned about them, and suddenly, just suddenly, they just disappeared for 56 days. You can imagine how hollow you will feel, knowing fully well that wherever your kids is or are, that they are not in good hands. Not to talk about hearing that they were taken up by bandits. That's even more traumatic, hearing who they are with, or where they are in the forest, where you have snakes, all kinds of animals and all of that. So it's quite pathetic, both for the parents or the partners of the teachers, and also worse for the kids. So at this little age, they are going through this traumatic experience. It's not something that that they deserve. That is the point. But kudos to the government that at least, despite all the long waiting, they were still able to get the kids back unharmed. The killed bandits who are with these children, no kids was harmed. At least we can see all of them okay and all of that. But the presidency is still telling us that there was no exchange of anything. There was no negotiation of any sort. That whatever they asked for were not given to them. That this is just a clear and total rescue operation by a combined team of security forces. So that's what they said. Well, who are we to say no? We'll believe what they said, right? So we keep working with it. Maybe along the line, more information will be coming out, probably when the security operatives will begin to give out details of how the operation was conducted, the team and the rest of them, and what really transpired in the forest, how they neutralized the 8 of them. So we didn't hear any report that there was casualty on our own side in terms of our security operatives or the pupils. At least we can see the children in the videos and pictures. So it is what it is, but we are happy that they are back. But something is significant in this whole operation, which I would like to talk about here, to see where we have a lot of problems, especially in our political system when it comes to a situation like this. So stay with me as we go into that aspect right now. But if you are new to this channel, please kindly like and share this video, and also subscribe to my channel. Put on your notification bell so that when my next new video drop, you will be among those that will be immediately notified, so that you can watch the video as it is hot. Okay? Now, what I want to bring up here is that this operation basically shows that federal government just came in, launched the operation, did the operation, and that was it. When you talk about coordination between the federal and state government, I think there's quite a wide and huge gap here, because remember, there's already a bad blood, going on between the federal government, and the state government. Especially when that, tweet that came out from Mr. P2B on X handle, saying that since the kidnap of the school children and their teachers, that the federal government, that the president has not called the state governor. That he asked the state governor, he said that up till now, that the president has never spoken to him concerning that. And don't forget that it was at that same period when these kids were kidnapped. I think they were still like 2 weeks in captivity, that the wife of the president was dishing out cars to women leaders. And she herself did not visit the state. The president did not visit the state when little kids were kidnapped. 40-something of them, right? I think 47 of them, including the teachers. And one of the teachers was beheaded on video and posted on social media. Another teacher was killed, I think, within the school premises when the operation, by this bandit, was taking place. So despite all those atrocities that happened and those bad news that came out from this operation, the president did not call the governor. He did not visit the state concerning that. Same thing with the wife and all of that. So already that tweet must kind of have, weakened the relationship between the federal government and the state governor. Because I also saw a video, where the state governor was like, he said in that video that he launched his presidential campaign. He mentioned the time, I think it was kind of late in the night. And then early in the morning, 9 a.m., there was a kidnap of the school children. So I don't know why he put up that statement, but I think it's kind of like trying to, push a narrative that If he did not launch this campaign, of his presidential bid, probably this kidnapping may not have happened. So I think he's trying to link it that this kidnapping operation was kind of, engineered by virtue of his announcing his presidential ambition. But when you look at that, if that's really the truth, how much time do they have? Because it's less than 12 hours after he announced his presidential bid that this incident happened. Is it that they already know he will announce it and then they planned this operation and was waiting for him to? I don't really know what his intentions, were in terms of bringing up, that conversation. And tying it to, political issues that is kind of linked to his declaration of presidential ambition. I don't know how truthful that will be. I don't know. So, except if you give us all the full details, then we can be able to analyze and know what he's saying. Is it really what the situation, is or not? So, but the fact is that based on that, because I've listened to several correspondents who are currently in Oyo State, and most of them were already saying that for them, the keys were rescued. They were not taken to the government's house. They were not taken to the governor. So they were taken to the military hospital, there in Oyo State, where they are going through some medical checks and all of that. So in terms of, there was no presentation to the governor that, oh, these kids have been rescued as the chief security of the state, like they used to call them, or like the head of that state, they were not presented to him yet or immediately, right, as they normally do. So first, they took them, to the military camp, and I heard that the governor will be going there to, see them as well in the military hospital where they are in the barracks, and then probably from there, that later in the day, they're going to be presenting the keys to the governor of the state. So that's what most of the correspondents, have been, talking about. But nothing yet has happened in terms of, giving them to the keys or even talking about handing them over to their respective families. So as usual, we know them, camera ops, they're gonna, call all the television stations, sew uniform for them as usual, and hand them over to the governor, and the governor will also do his own abracadabra, and then the parents will be invited as if they are holding what kind of town meetings or town ceremony before they give them over to their respective parents. So, but whatever happened in this case simply shows the weak security situation that Nigeria is going through right now. It shows that our security architecture is weak and need to be totally overhauled. Because I can't imagine American children in school, students in school were kidnapped and they spent 56 days in captivity. I can't imagine that in the United States of America, even in the UK or in all these developed countries. Because go and check every school shooting in America, the moment there's any school shooting, hey, immediately they must neutralize that person. That none of them has ever escaped and spent 1 week before he was caught. They must follow the person bomber to bomber. Helicopter everywhere, police everywhere, and they must now either they nab you alive or they neutralize you straight on. So it has always been like that. So, but in our case now, you can see, what happened. And they keep giving all those excuses that, there's children there. If they go in to rescue them, there may be casualties and this and that and that and that. Now that they went to rescue them, were they casualties? That is the question. So you can see we have intelligence gathering problem because dealing with this kind of tasks required intelligence. So, but in our climb, the intelligence gathering agency, I don't really know what they do. We have the DMI, Department of Military Intelligence. We have the DSS. You have the police, and the rest of them. So what are they doing with the intelligence? Or is that there's no interagency relationship or collaboration? This one gather intelligence, they keep it. They don't inform the other group. So they're supposed to have a network where they share intelligence, right? So all this military, police, DSS, civil defense, even NDLEA, customs, all those people, they're supposed to have a centralized system where any of them that gather any intelligence, they populate it there, the respective agency will act on it. So they're supposed to be working together. But if you look at our climb now, bandits go to anywhere, kidnap people at will, there's no red flag, warning the people that look at what is about to happen. Even in some cases, I've had cases where DSS even gather intelligence and share it, but they don't act on it because most of the kidnapping or most of this attack in communities, most of the bandits, they write the community. They even inform them ahead of time that they will attack them, they will deal with them, they will kill them, this and that. And the community relays the information to security operative, but still nothing happens. And those people will still come, execute their threat, and go. So I don't really know why it is like that, in our system. It's not about pumping, billions and trillions in the security budget. The question is, how are these funding utilized? Are they utilized for the proper thing? Are they utilized to do what they are supposed to do? Now they are talking of, state police. And I liked Professor Chido Denkalu's position that we are talking about state police, something that, affects the people, but there's no conversation. The people are not carried along to even know what is even in the bill, the content of the bill. And so is it when you people in the National Assembly has finished passed the bill, that's when you are now holding town hall meeting, the one did this they held the other day, right? You are now holding town hall meeting where you people have already passed first reading, second reading, even third reading. Is it how they do, stuff? I think there's supposed to be public hearing. People will come in, share their views. Those NGOs in security sector, security experts and consultants, the Nigerian citizens, everybody will come in, have a conversation. How is this going to work? What is the structure? How do we provide those safeguards that will block the governors from, taking advantage of the, state police to deal with political opponents, deal with their enemies or perceived enemies, or deal with whoever they want to deal with? We already know the arrogance of, those in power, what they do. They will tell you to your face, I will make you disappear and nothing will happen. Policeman will cock his gun and say, I will kill you here and nothing will happen. And I will label you a criminal, a Yahoo boy. We have seen all those things happen. The question is, creating the state police, how do you nip all these things in the bud? How do you do that? I'm not a candidate of those who are saying, oh, the governor going to use state police for their own advantage and this and that. We can't be thinking like that, because if we are thinking like that, why do we have the Nigerian police in the first place? We would have thought like that the president will use them, and we wouldn't have established police. We would have been living without any police. We can't be thinking like that. What should we be thinking about is, what are the structures? What are the content of this bill? How does it address the people's problem in terms of security-wise? Having state police does not just fix the problem. It doesn't. But we believe it can help in terms of each state will take care of their security, right? And instead of just buying halos and all of those, you'll be responsible for what happened in your state. Because any governor you hold now will tell you, I'm just the chief security, but I'm not commanding the police or the army. And that's how they escape. But they collect security votes, right? But they never told us that the security vote, they are not commanding the military, so they don't need it. They would have asked government to keep the security vote, that they don't need it. So, but they collect it. We have police equipment, fund there. The money was embezzled through corruption. Till today now, I don't know what happened in that matter till today. So these are the problems we are having. Billions goes to security sector, but the outcome, the result that comes out of that billion is nothing to write home about. How can 47 people, students and their teachers, be kidnapped and they spend 56 days in captivity before they were rescued? Think about it. Imagine if it's your kid. Imagine if those teachers are your wife or husband. Just think about it. Because when it happened to other people, most of us, we don't feel the impact, because it's not us. It's not any of our family members. Until when it happens to you or your family member, that's when you begin to understand the implications of what we're talking about. But you don't need to wait till then. That's why we are speaking up, pushing the government to be able to do what they're supposed to do. I don't know why till today, Nigerian police don't have body cam. Nigerian police, majority of them don't have bulletproof. Majority of them don't have equipment. In developed countries, police don't carry AK-47. No. What they carry is pistol. They put their pistol by the side in their holster. They don't carry AK-47. They only move with such higher weapon if there are emergencies, there are attacks somewhere and all of that. That's when those ones comes up. But in terms of normal patrol and normal movement, they only hold their pistol and other communication gadgets. That's why as you radio, any police, anywhere we hear, any closer person will go to the scene and all of that. But we don't have all those things. Each police, they address, each police have their communication gadget on their shoulder. They hear every radio communication. But in our own, they don't. You see any policeman dress or wear slippers, smoking in their hand and all of that. So, they don't go mental evaluation, they don't go drug test and all of that. No credentials, no background check, no nothing. That's why most criminals now join police, so that they will now use the uniform to now do their criminal business more better. They look at the guy they killed in the Paso guy, the guy that was talking about Paso. Is he in Sapelo or what? The guy, what's his name again? I've forgotten his name. That police officer shot, just like that. So that kind of officer who is a fixer, you can imagine his life outside police. So he now came into police, used the police uniform to be able to cover those things he's doing as an individual. That's why background check is very important. Who is this person? Where have you been? Which qualification do you have? Where have you worked before? What is your history? And so on and so forth. These are the things they do. They do background check on people before they engage you for anything. Not to talk about something as important as policing. So we need to really wake up as citizens. Let's not just be docile. Let's begin to speak up, begin to hold government accountable in all front. This state police thing they are doing, how many citizens are speaking, protesting, agitating, asking government what is in the content of that document? Till now, no Nigerian know what is in that essay. This is a National Assembly that passes a law under 2 hours. I saw most of the members of the National Assembly, lamented that they just gave them over 45-page document to review in the night. They gave them late in the evening, and they have the passing the bill the next morning. How will they do that? How will they critically analyze those documents? And most of them that got that document, you need to send it to your PA or legal person that works with you, your officer that works with you, to go through all of them and bring you a brief, bit by bit on which section and all of that. Most of them can't read those things. They have people who does those technical job for them and give them the response. So when you look at the strategy this government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the Akpabio's-led National Assembly is doing, you will know that their job is don't care about the people. This is what we want. So just do it. Circumvent the people, manipulate the members of the assembly, and pass what we want. Same thing happens when they want to borrow loan. You won't hear anything. The next in 2 hours, they have passed the bill to borrow loan. No question asked, what are the loans for, on which project, put it, not asked. So these are the issues. So, well, I don't know, but the fact remains that we are glad that the keys came back, and we're happy for them. And we say kudos to the security agencies that went to the forest to get them back, and we're happy that they are back. And hopefully very soon they'll be reuniting them with their families, and then their life can move on. But I believe that government should give them all the necessary help that they deserve, so that this traumatic experience and all of that will be taken care of, and help them to recover and be able to join back to the society. So I'm going to play you just a small clip of what the Arise correspondents, who is just say what they are saying in terms of what is going on right now, as after the school children and their teacher were rescued. So that we'll hear what is coming out from them, and then we'll be able to wrap up this video. All right, so watch this clip and we'll be right back.
Now, what is happening is that they are being kept at the military medical service here in Ibadan, Odogbo Barracks. There's a military medical facility there, and they are currently being checked. Some of the children are getting medications. There are different medical and psychological support on the way right now. That's what is going on. But for now, there is restriction for access. Media access is not allowed into that facility. Earlier, we have seen a representative of Oyo State, the Commissioner of Information was around, the Commissioner for Health, and there is also news that the governor is coming to come and pay them a visit there. But for now, what we have is that they are just kept there, and currently they are taking their medications, they are checking them, they are giving them all the kind of support that is needed for them before they are moved. For now, we're not hearing any information about where next, but for now, they are here just behind me at the military barracks.
All right, Joseph, very good. I'm sure quite a number of people will be asking this question, whether ransom was paid to secure the release of the hostages.
Yeah, for now, there's no enough detail to say whether ransom or, it's a long debate, it's a conversation that has started even immediately the news got out yesterday evening. But for now, what we are seeing is that we have the Bayo Onanuga, the representative to the president, said that arrests were made, about 8 arrests were made. That is what the conversation has been here, that arrests have been made, and no conversation about ransom, nothing like that. But we know we have to look forward to the future and to the details. Maybe very soon we'll get all the details about that. But for now, what we know is that the agencies work together in synergy, and they brought these children and the teachers back.
Have you had any chance to speak with any of the victims to tell us what their ordeal was like? And also, there was a report that Governor Seyi Makinde is expected to receive them today at his Ikolaba residence. How soon would that be? When would that happen?
Yeah, we've not been able to have access to any of the victims because it's actually an heavily secured premises in the barracks there. You can't even go close. And also we have seen the Shonwu of Ogbomoso come in. It has been very frequent here, coming in to check on them. We don't have the access beyond the gate, but we see the Shonwu of Ogbomoso coming in. And also there is news that the governor of Oyo State would come in very soon, but we don't have the nitty-gritty and all of that. For now, what we just know is that they are inside, and we are also on standby to bring the latest immediately. Maybe some of them are coming out. We get our live report across.
Indeed, Joseph, I'm sure you must have had rapport with the people of that region. What exactly are they saying about the scenario of mass kidnappings happening in their domain right there? You know, we hear stories about this from the north where it's more prevalent, but it's right there in Oyo State as well. So what's the mood like? Are they thinking, will this happen again? So what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, for them, the atmosphere here is that of happiness, joy. There's a lot of excitement that these people are back, looking back to when the whole thing started in May and now. So that is the excitement. And are there fears? Yes, there are fears. There are concerns that this is getting so close. Ogbomoso from here is just a couple of miles, and you're wondering how safe are we, even here in Ibadan, the capital city of Oyo State. So the conversation is, the atmosphere is just more of a mixture of excitement that they are back, and also that they want the government to do more in terms of protecting them, in terms of making sure that their livelihood and everything, businesses and all of that, is very secured.
So how many of them do we have on ground right now? Do we have all the people who were kidnapped back safely rescued?
Yes, we have all the persons. That's what the tangible and official news is that we have all the victims rescued and back. And earlier we also spoke with Senator Fatai Buhari, the senator for Oyo North, off camera, and he was here around 9 o'clock when they were brought in, and he was able to have first-time experience about some of it. And he said clearly that he could recognize, aside from the head teacher, which everybody knows, he could also recognize some of the children, and he was able to say, that he was so happy that despite all the days they spent in that place, they are still in good health. And yes, they have some health checks here and there, but he's happy that he was able to see them. The atmosphere was of that of joy and all of that. So he was happy, and he shared those experiences with us. We didn't have first-hand, but he had the first-hand experience, and he shared that good report with us.
All right, welcome back. So you heard what he said. There's no major concrete thing that's happening to them. We just know that they are in the medical facility of the military in the barrack there, and they are expecting that the governor is going to come around, and also they may be handing over the keys to the state government for them to be able to reunite them to their families, as the case may be. So it is what it is, but I think the government should do more better. Not when people are kidnapped, they spend almost 2 months in captivity, before they are rescued. They should do more better, strengthen their intelligence gathering system, and all they need to do within the intelligence family, and also be able to provide the necessary equipment that is required for the security operatives, and training, adequate training, right? And with what is coming up in the state policing, maybe it's going to help, as the case may be, if they don't bastardize the system. But if they don't put the necessary safeguards in that law, then it's going to be a problem, because you're now making the state an emperor, the state governor an emperor, as the case may be. So he can witch hunt whoever he want to witch hunt. He can rig election and put whoever he want to put, whether in the local level or councillorship level or state governor level and House of Assembly. Just like we have the rubber stamp in the federal, even the state are also rubber. How many state governors have you had that the state assembly is holding accountable? It's only Fubara, because they want to remove him, because he's in loggerhead with his boss, Wike. That's the only place we had about House of Assembly in the state, doing something. It's only on Fubara during this fight with Wike. So we saw all these things happen. Which other state among the 36 states that you have had the House of Assembly's voice at all? Just tell me. None. Why? Same way the president is controlling National Assembly, same way the governors are controlling the houses of assembly. Buy them SUVs, give them money in their budget, let them enjoy themselves, do constituency, project they claim they are doing, which they are not doing, and the House of Assembly will be okay. And then what next? The governor will focus on taking whatever is left, and that's how it works. So it's just like Professor Chido Denkalu said, that the country is an organized crime manifesting as a political, organization. No, that's exactly what it is, because these guys, they work in cohorts. They work together. Whether the executive, the legislature, or even the judiciary, all of them, they work together for their own personal interests, not for the interests of the people. That's exactly what the situation is. So how many houses of assembly have held their governor accountable? Most governors are not doing what they're supposed to do. All the money they receive, where are they going to? Which project are they doing? How many people are they empowering? Poverty in their state is going deeper and deeper. Even at the federal level, the same thing. How many people have they held accountable? That's the question. No. So they work together in tandem. That's how they do. Take care of themselves. The citizens can go and suffer. And they keep exploiting the citizens, taxing them, giving them insecurity, giving them dead infrastructures and whatever. These are the issues we are talking about. So, but the citizens need to wake up and play their role as the office of the citizen. That is the point. Nobody will hold them accountable for you. God won't come down from heaven to hold them accountable. It is our responsibility as the citizens of the country to hold our leaders accountable. Go through the budget. Find out what was budgeted for your state, for your locality, and all of that. Have they been done? What amount was allocated to them? Hold it. Begin to question the government. You say you are doing this SYZ road in my street. It's not done. No construction company was there. The road is dilapidated and 100 million was budgeted this year. What is going on? That's how to hold them accountable. When they begin to see that the people are now conscious and aware of what happens in governance and in their areas, they begin to sit up. But when people don't question, I know people are visible on X, but it's beyond X. It's beyond, tweeting. These are the things you physically, begin to act upon. Go to that road, they say they are working on your area and all of that. Take a video, take a picture, upload it, mention the road, the place. This is what is going on here. They are not working, they are too slow. This is 3 months. This is where they are staying at. And so when all these things are coming up and coming up and coming up, to be honest, they go to social media. They are scared of what social media can do to them. So when you see these things happen, and you see them waking up, doing what they're supposed to do. That's how it is. So there's no saying the fact that this guy don't care about the citizen. And I will tell you the honest truth, they don't care. They don't care. You are making law for state police, people that police me, people that provide security for me. Me, I'm not involved in it. That is why citizen participation is not working. That is why in Nigeria today, you hardly see police and the citizen work together. They say police is your friend. For where? Bail is free. For where? So these are the point. In America, for example, citizen can be in his house. When he see any unusual movement, he call 911. And in the next couple of minutes, police is around, checking what is happening, what's going on, who is the person trespassing. What did you see? They tell them, they pick intelligence, they start, surveilling the place, check CCTVs on the street and know what went on and all of that. So that's what it is. But our own citizens, even if citizens see something, they can't say something, because if we call police now, even if they even have their phone number, they don't even have all this emergency number that is functional. They will tell you call 121. When you call it, nothing, it's not functional. So, but in abroad, you call 911. So we see officer arrive immediately. And once that officer arrives, another 4, 5, 6, 7 patrol vehicles of police are there. That's how it is. There are police in everywhere. They have state police, they have county police, they have special police, like transit police, they have federal police, the FBI, they have, all kinds of police, different levels. They have them in community police, in everything. So that's why even when they're talking about state police, I was thinking they would have integrated local police as well, so that we have vigilante in communities, we have local police in the local government, we have state police in the state, we now have the federal police. They can now have other special units, like all the tactical unit, all the SWAT team, and all those things can be there as, special operations. So that's what I was expecting. Is it after state police law, we'll come back again to start afresh to do local police, assuming we need state police. So these are the things. If they carry citizens and law, citizens will tell them what they are going through, what they expect from them, and they can now go back and integrate all those. But they don't carry citizens along. Somebody that is presenting himself and his pocket will stand in the hollow chamber and say this is representing the people of social constituency, which is not true. They are representing themselves, their pocket. That's what it is. So I don't know, but I think we really need to do much, in issues of this nature, so that we ensure that we are doing what is right for our people. That is the point. So guys, I'm going to leave it here, but thanks be to God that our keys are back, and in the coming days, we're going to hear from the security operative that went for the operation, so that we'll know exactly how the whole thing went down, right? So until then, we keep our fingers crossed, hoping that no more students will be kidnapped. We have had more than 10 or 13 kidnaps within this administration of students. Not everybody, of school pupils. It's as bad as it is. So, as I leave the stage, if you are new to this channel, please like and share this video, and also subscribe to my channel and put on your notification bell, so that when my next video drop, will be among those that will be notified. Whatever you have to say concerning this video, please put it in the comment section, and I'm going to reply you personally. I'll see you in my next video. You have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching. I'm signing out. See you.